thank you for clicking on Young People's Mental Health, where I'm going to be talking about mental illness and mental health problems in people aged 13 to 19. My research is taken from youngminds.co.uk. Everything, including all support, help numbers, everything is going to be in the description below. I'm talking about this because this is a time when most mental illnesses start to develop. I'm also talking about this because we need to be aware of the environmental factors, the environmental events, traumatic events that we go through that can help to develop mental health problems. And finally, I'm doing this because this group of people, when I was this age group, which wasn't that long ago, honest, when I was in this age group, I didn't feel listened to, I didn't feel heard, I didn't feel respected, I didn't feel trusted, I didn't feel like I had any rights, and that thankfully is starting to change. But when I was that age, it was a real struggle, it was a real tough time. There was exams, there was friendships, there was relationships, there was parents, there was boyfriends, girlfriends, everything that you could possibly go through in such a condensed amount of time. Plus on top of that, add, putting pressure on deadlines, exams, homework, just too much stuff. And the more that impacts on us, the more we get stressed. Stress leads to anxiety. The more we have traumatic events, that can lead to depression and PTSD. The more, if we've already got a predisposition to develop mental illness, this could then start happening at that age, having an impact on all of it. So it just all works together in this big bubbly mix of stuff. And we need to be breaking this down and saying, whoa, stop, because this is not good for this group of people. If we can support, care and love this group of people more than we do, and give them that time, give them that respect, give them that integrity, and yes, all this amazing stuff, then there's going to be less likely that these mental health problems will develop, meaning that when they are adults, they are more likely to lead healthier, stronger, happier, free of illness, free of physical, free of mental illness, and be just awesome people, more awesome than they could ever possibly be. That was my intro. Yes. Right, and breathe. So now we've got that introduction out of the way, I want to just say that I'm going to be talking about what mental illness is, but mainly I'm going to be talking about the traumatic events that can lead us to developing mental health problems. So mental illness affects our thoughts, our feelings and behaviours. So our thoughts being, I think I'm stupid, I think I'm rubbish, I think I'm just a piece of rubbish, I think I'm just, not worth being on this planet, I think I'm just worthless, I think I'm helpless, I think I'm hopeless. So those are your thoughts. If you have depression and your feelings may be disturbed, such as I feel depressed, I feel sad, I feel guilty, I feel angry, and your behaviours, so I keep touching the microphone. If you have disturbed behaviours, it might be that you're not eating well, you're maybe starving yourself, or maybe going to binging and purging, or maybe that you're not getting enough sleep or too much sleep. So if you're noticing any of the things that I will talk about towards the end, or any of this resonates with you, please comment, please like, please share, please do what you want with this video, but let's try and get this awareness out to help this wonderful group of people. So what causes mental health? Very quickly, I've got a video on this, please check it out. But we've got our genetics, our brain, our genetics and our environment. So we've got genetics, where we biologically come from our parents, and then also the environment around us. And then this all kind of works with the brain to create mental illness or not create mental illness. If you've been born with a predisposition to develop mental illness because of your genetics, then it is very likely, if you have a bad environment, that you will develop mental health problems. I'm not trying to diagnose, as always. I'm just saying this is based on my research, this is based on my understanding, but by no means is this video a diagnosis video. If you've turned this on to get a diagnosis of something, this is not. This is information, this is education. If you think you are battling with any of this in any way, please seek professional help. That's my introduction to what is mental illness. So what can cause mental health problems? We've got bullying. So this bullying is physical, emotional or online abuse. Bullying affects over 1 million young people every year. That's insane. I think it's more personally. And anyone can be bullied. So bullying can include homophobic, racist, homophobic, racist, religious, sizist, sexist, cyberbullying, and just being bullied because you're different. Bullying can make you feel isolated and worthless, lonely and anxious, angry and lacking confidence. You may experience some or all of these feelings if you have experienced Bullying can be viewed as a trauma, and trauma or experiencing a traumatic event can lead to mental health problems. Some people who have been bullied can go on to develop depression, anxiety, and eating problems. They may even go towards self-harm or drugs and alcohol. Then we have abuse. Abuse is always wrong, and it can be very difficult to talk about, but you're never alone. If you're worried about abuse, find out what it is and find out who can help you. As always, there's support in the space below, but check out youngminds.co.uk. I think it's youngminds.co.uk, maybe youngminds.org.uk. It'll appear here now, the correct web address, but it's also in the description below. Abuse is often, sorry to detract from what I'm saying, different types of abuse. So there's physical, being physically hurt by someone, maybe being punched or kicked. Mental, being treated badly, such as constantly being ignored. So that's kind of a passive aggressive thing to do, sulk or ignore, or pretend they're not there, or saying horrible words as well. Oh, that's the next one. Verbal, saying, shouting, writing horrible things. Neglect, not being looked after or kept healthy, and sex abuse, touch where you shouldn't be or forced to take part in sexual activity. Really gentle subject, gentle, delicate subject. We need to approach this with caution. But abuse is often about power, and the person who abuses you using that power to make you do things that you don't want to do. It is hurtful either mentally and physically. Sexual abuse includes being kissed or forced to have sex against your will, and often by someone older than you. Speak out sooner rather than later. It could lead to mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, drug and alcohol abuse, or leading you to become the abused to become the abuser. Abuse is trauma. It is a trauma, and if you're going through this while all the other things are going on, this could lead to mental health problems. Death and loss, so experiencing a bereavement. So it's natural to feel sad and depressed when someone's passed, okay? It's absolutely a normal, neurotypical, whatever the word is. I hate saying normal on this channel. With my blocked nose, I can't really say normal. It is, sorry. Oh gosh, I keep getting distracted. Right, so it's natural to feel sad and depressed, anxious and angry when someone close dies to you. When you've lost a family member or a friend or a much-loved pet, you need the space to come to terms with their death. You'll feel a whole range of emotions, including numbness, anger, depression, sadness, even guilt, or even relief. You may find yourself worrying about the other people's mental health or even your own. But you need to work through these feelings because they are totally fine and a normal part of and sad part of life. But working through them, getting support from people around you, talking to people. It's not good to be on your own going through all of this. Talking to someone about what's happened, you're likely to feel that you can come to terms with it, and you're likely to come out of this. You're more likely to be able to cope with the bereavement and move on in a happier, safer, aware way. Talking to someone about what's happened and how you're feeling can help you come to terms with the death or loss. You can talk to a trusted friend. If you start to feel that you're struggling and this has gone on for months and months and months and months, when maybe perhaps other people are getting over it. Everyone's different. It takes a different amount of time. There's no set amount of time, but they do say anything kind of, if it's continuing after 6 months, then get some help. Just like bullying, just like abuse, this is a trauma, and if it's not dealt with and not processed at the time, it can lead to developing mental health problems such as depression, such as anxiety, maybe even phobias. Another area is problems at home. So we've got negative environment, abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, divorce, separation, problems with siblings, step-siblings, half-siblings, alcohol and drug abuse by parents or siblings. Loads of things that could be going on. You put that on top of any of those other things, it can be very traumatic, and it can be a very, very tough time for the person going through any of this, and also it can then put you at risk again from mental health problems. These are all traumatic things, and when you're a younger person, it's hard for you to process those traumatic events. I mean, harder than maybe an adult, because they may have already experienced those events, so they're better at coping. There's so many reasons why teenagers develop mental health problems. I hope this video is making it a bit clearer for you. Next, we have problems at school. So friendships, relationships, workload, exams, deadlines, homework. These are all stresses, all things that could lead to be developing anxiety. And if you have other phobias already, perhaps, which is an anxiety disorder, if you add that on top of it, so maybe you're starting to become phobic about certain, maybe going outside or going, social phobias, for example, that's what I'm trying to get at, and you find it hard to go out and you find it hard to meet people, you put that on top of all the other things, having to do all of this at school and having to do all of these, working with deadlines and everything like that, is very, very traumatic. The whole package of being in this age group is very, very traumatic. So what types of mental health problems? I think I've basically touched on this, but depression, anger, anxiety, suicidal ideation, sleep problems, eating problems, self-harm. This may even then make you have more problems at school, make it harder for you to be in relationships, but then goes round and makes it even harder and harder and harder, and it keeps going round in this vicious cycle. And then also we talk about our thoughts, our feelings and behaviours. If our thoughts are affecting our behaviours and our feelings, our behaviours affecting our feelings and our thoughts, and our feelings are affecting our behaviours and our thoughts, I think that's right, then it's going round in this big circle. And if we're not taking care of ourselves or being taken care of, this can lead to mental health problems. Just being a teenager can be hard. As I said, we've got all the pressures on us, so we need to make sure we take time to relax. We need to take time off our phones. If I had my phone with me now, I would pretend to throw it. Don't throw your phone. I've done that before and it's broken. Taking time away from the social media channels, because there is a lot of trolling out there, there's a lot of bullying, and also I think we're judging ourselves based on this perfect selfie, we're judging others based on this perfect selfie, and actually there's no such thing as perfectionism. What we see in front of us is what we think of as perfect, but it's not real. It's behind the filter, it's behind the pose, it's behind the angle. Some angles you would take and you'd get 15 chins, other angles, anyway, I'm not going to be going on too much for that, but we need to take time to relax. We need to take time away from those stresses. We need to take time off our phones. We need to have breaks from our work. We need to be communicating with those close to us, and we need to be taking care of each other. And that doesn't go for just teenagers and mental illness. It goes for all of us as a whole. Just hit myself in the nose. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I hope it's explained mental health problems and young people. I hope it's helped. I hope it's been useful. I hope that it will bring lots of help to everyone who is watching this video. Please comment, please like and subscribe. Please check out all the links in the description. Please take care of yourselves. I love you all to bits, and I will see you next time.